Hi, it's Paul here from Vertiges, and for today's tech tip, we're going to have a look at using the pre-built Geocortex workflows when designing your web and mobile applications. They're really handy to have when you're building out those more common operations and allow you to get those applications up and running much quicker. Let's have a look. Okay, so when we talk about pre-built workflows, it just essentially means that we provide many out-of-the-box Geocortex workflows for various common tasks that you can then add seamlessly into the applications that you're building. So here we are in Geocortex Web Designer, and there's various locations that you can add in these pre-built workflows. One of those is the I want to menu, which is right here. So if I click in the I want to menu configuration, I've got my sort of default options here. I can add a new menu item. I've got, of course, commands, and I can add in reports as well. But today we're focusing on workflows. So I've got my own workflows that I can add in here. I've got workflows that are shared with me from my organization. But I've got this option here to create a new workflow. So now I've got a list of pre-built workflows that I can seamlessly add into my application. So for this option, I've got applicable workflows that make sense in the I want to menu. So sort of starting point type of a workflow. So in this case, there's a buffer identify. So it just simply presents a form for the user to specify a buffer, then identify those features within the buffer, do an address lookup. So common tasks that you might fall under I want to many, sort of a starting point, like I said, for users. So another area I can go into is the map. And before I do that, though, I wanted to mention quickly about that these options are available inside of Geocortex Mobile Designer as well. So if I am already in the I want to menu configuration, if I go to add menu item, again, I've got the same options here. This is the I want to menu, so I've got some very similar options, if not the same options here listed. So got options both in web and mobile to add in these pre-built workflows. So I've gone into back into Geocortex Web Designer. I'm in the map configuration. So I'm going to focus my attention on this fire hydrants layer. So I'm going to add a feature actions menu item to this layer. What that basically means is when I click on a feature, I've got a menu option right within the result here to run a task. So I'm going to add a menu item and click on the Workflows tab, create a new workflow. Okay, so in this menu, you can notice that I've got some different options, obviously, when we're talking about a feature action. So it's more applicable to, what tasks would you like to run on a specific feature. So we've got a buffer feature. So if you want to buffer the feature you selected, or if you want to run a reverse geocode on it, retrieve an address, get some related records on that feature. So some common and really handy tools that you can use that are ready and available for you to use, and then go in and refine. So you've got them pre-built, but you can go into the workflow and refine it if you need to as well. So I'm not going to show you that in a second. So I'm going to focus my attention today on editing feature attributes. This is obviously editing features is a very common task in GIS applications. But a lot of times when editing a feature, you are presented with a long list of attributes that maybe aren't applicable for the user that is using your application. So maybe applicable in other cases, but for this application, you kind of want to refine the user experience a little bit and maybe make some changes to how your feature list, your attribute list, and the way it looks. Some naming conventions, maybe some attributes don't need to be there at all, like I said, and you can remove them. So let's have a look at doing that. Feature. All right, so we've got our new edit feature action here listed. Let's have a quick look at what that looks like. Yeah, here's my new button. And you can see that this actually runs a Geocortex workflow. So this is a Geocortex workflow form that has been now built and customized based on the feature that I've selected for it for. So the hydrants layer, right? So this is a form now that I can make changes to, since it's a Geocortex workflow. Whereas before I would be sort of locked into whatever attributes are associated with it, and I'd have to just sort of deal with it as is. But since it isn't, I can go in and customize this. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. So let's go into the feature action configuration itself. Now I've got the option here to actually open right into Geocortex Workflow. I've got a few things, pretty simple workflow here, but this activity sort of sequence, I guess, sort of captures all the information that way, what I would talk about before, capturing layer information, all of that sort of stuff. And then it's populated into a form, and that's what I'm interested in here today. So this is the pre-populated form. This is especially if you've got a lot of attributes associated with a specific layer, this can be tedious to go through and create all of these form items and configure them all. This is definitely a head start to get this form built, and then you can make changes to it from there. So let's make a few changes. Let's just change comments to notes. Let's remove status. Let's remove manufacturers, fine. Asset ID, doesn't really matter. Just making some changes here. And let's give that a save. And then we can instantly go back into our Geocortex web application configuration here, select a hydrant, select that workflow again, and we've got our changes instantaneously, right? So we've got our notes now, and we've got those other attributes now removed. So very easy to make these simple changes, but you can build an even further workflow from here. So maybe you wanted to do for some other actions based on this edit. So then you've got the power of workflow to perform any number of other tasks that you might want to do. So so very powerful, gives you, like I said, a great head start to some of the more common tasks. Have a look if you're interested, and hopefully that you find these tools useful. Okay, have yourself a great day.